Welcome to the MU Podcast Club, where ideas spark, stories unfold, and conversations take center stage. Whether you're here to learn, laugh, or just listen, we have got something for you. So sit back, hit play, and let's dive in.
Like-minded,
with a group of people with coordination and
with skill, ability that is required by the organization sitting in a building and working, right? So that's what is abundantly available in India, and India being the youngest country with the right talent, it becomes an obvious destination. So India is definitely a very lucrative destination, not only from delivery perspective, it's also from innovation, product, and also the corporate services perspective. So that's why India became an obvious choice, and I was given an opportunity to work and deliver, and here we are.
if I mean if people, the young talents are planning to apply into your company, what is something that you look up to? Because the technological the sector is growing day by day. Now it comes to AI, Power BI, this, etc., etc. It's like, what is it, something that key spark that you're looking into the young talent?
Let me correct you a little bit. It's not my company, the companies that I worked in. So
Okay.
let me give you a generic answer. So when you look at the capability, innovation, and delivery centers that are being established, everything starts with something very small. Predominantly, they start as global technology centers, providing technological support, whether you call it as infrastructure, cloud, application development, your quality assurance practices and quality management, your security or risk operations, whether it is digital workspace or engineering areas, whether it is cloud engineering or cloud related aspects, data or analytics. You take anything, business or process engineering, whatnot. This is where most of the organizations start their work, and they evolve into corporate functions, into operations, whether it is business operations, we call it as back office or mid office, and the corporate functions like finance, HR, legal, compliance. So these are becoming very obvious along with technology. In fact, some of the organizations have a real estate management. People sitting here in India, of course, needless to say, the call centers and BPOs, whatnot, it's very obvious. But it is becoming a marketplace for talent. So, talent is available in abundance, and it's not just technology. You take pharma, you take aviation, you take defense related, renewable, and there are so many where the talent is available. And institution like Tech Mahindra, when I was interacting with all of you, I spoke to the future business leaders, legal professionals, engineers, right? Within this room itself, we have so much talent, right?
Yes.
When you go beyond this organization, beyond this, there is so much. So how do you essentially tap into it? What organizations look at? They start small and realize that it's beyond just a staff augmentation that they have. They focus on capability, and they essentially mature the organization while they focus on delivery and others. Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Yes, with a smile, I take it.
So, what will be your key giveaways to young entrepreneurs who are planning to establish their companies or get into the private sector?
A great question, and it's very dear to my heart too. There is always a difference between being intellectual versus being experienced. And so, every intellectual individual, right, should have a bit of experience when they want to establish their own entity, right? Because when I growing up, the whole concept of startup or doing our own business or doing, you know, starting up our own firm is never prevalent. Only few people actually have that kind of mindset. It's more around services mindset. How do you get into a job? How do you work? How do you go into, you know, positions where, you know, you grow in your career ladder? Now the new generation has so many resources, especially as we were discussing, right? AI is going to play a big role.
Yes, sir.
So we moved from generative AI to agentic AI, right?
Yes, sir.
Where it's going to evolve, and there are like three other, you know, phases of AI
Yes, sir.
that's going to essentially make our life so easy or miserable. We don't know yet, but how do you? And the newer generation is very quick to adapt to all this. So my suggestion to younger generation is, but don't go slow, but go carefully. That's number one. Number two, be agile and be very flexible, because at a young age, everything that you are planning to do or you have planned to do most probably will not, you know, stick after 2 to 3 years. So have short-term goals with a long-term vision and align yourself to the situation, knowing what you want to be in the future. The third aspect is be a finisher. When you touch something, try to finish it. If it's a book, right, you start, you try to finish. Even watching a movie, right, you start and you end. You take a topic of study, you start and you end. Being a finisher is the most important aspect, irrespective of the field that you are engaged in. Last but not least, have a mentor, somebody with whom you can bounce off the ideas, who will give that constructive criticism that will enable you to do better things and bigger things. And also have no fear of failure. There is nothing called failure. No one starts anything thinking that I have to fail, right? Either you will succeed or you learn. Have no fear. Take calculated risks, but do take risks. Of course, I'm sure you heard like fail first, fail fast. No. Try to learn from if there is a failure, right? And try not to repeat the same thing. And respect the experience and experienced people. Try to learn. It goes back to the point that I said, right? Intellect versus experience.
Yes, sir.
And don't be in a rush to finish everything in a day.
Go slow and steady wins the race.
Right. Well, it depends on the situation too, right?
Okay.
All I want to say is just be passionate and focus on AI. AI is not artificial intelligence, I would say absolute intelligence.
Nice definition. Probably I will let my professors know.
Yeah, that's what is very important, right? Before you get to the AI part, you know, be good at, you know, the absolute intelligence and have a life outside of cell phones and electronic gadgets.
Point to be noted.
I have seen so many kids that have utmost respect because they always walk their heads down, looking at their phones, right? There is a life beyond the electronic gadgets. Enjoy the nature, right? Travel quite a bit. Travel teaches you a lot.
Yes, sir.
There is so much you can do. and this is so much you can learn when you travel. And spend some good quality family life, because what you're doing is you're collecting memories which will stick with you forever. And when you are with the people,
Definitely.
be with the people.
Yes, sir.
Care for the people next to you, not who is very far away sending you a message.
Okay.
That's all, but enjoy the life. You know, you guys are much smarter than previous generation, and it's only gonna go better. So, those are my 2 cents.
Sir, the last question for today. As a board of director of ISB, what's your experience working there? And what are, like, if you have to tell the young leaders out about the management or the leadership skills or the goals, what would it be? And something, a good word for it.
A good question, right? As I was telling, after my undergrad, ISB is one place where I really wanted to, join to do my MBA. Unfortunately, it did not work out. I was put in a box and sent to US, and I'm very fortunate to be on the board of advisors for ISB. One thing that I always tell students, not only in ISB, in so many other places, that use the common sense. A lot of people commonly miss using their common sense. They think like so much, but a simple solution can solve a lot of problems, right?
Yes.
And being practical. And how do you bring a concept to a concrete with a tangible plan is very important. And seeking help, guidance, and assistance will never diminish your charm. And you are not always right. And you are not always wrong.
Exactly.
And having that open mindset is very important. And being very transparent and honest in your execution, you'll get great appreciation. So these are the things that I tell people. And also other important aspect is, how do you make sure the academia and industry, the correlation works? How do you transform from academia into an industry? What does industry expects? And what are the missing elements? And what is the gap? I don't want to call it as a finishing school, but how do you transition and get adopted into the new environment? That's what I share with a lot of kids. And how do you transform what you learned? There may be a chemical engineer that is getting into IT, right?
Yes,
But
sir.
it doesn't mean that the person has to forget everything and start from ground zero. How do you create the relevance to what you studied, to what you're going to work on?
Join the dots.
Yes. So those are the important things. And be very open. As I said, right, there are so many ways to learn, in the given, I would say, age and stage. So utilize the resources. So that's what I can essentially say, my experience. And also create the employability, right? And there are hundreds and thousands of kids coming out. Only 2 to 3% are getting hired especially from the engineering side. And everyone is looking for experienced people. How can you get experience without employing this new talent? So how do you create a program or programs and bridge that void is very important. So anyone that is coming out of any premier institution, that's one thing that you say, right? What you went through, others should not go through, especially if it's a hurdle.
Yes.
And how do you ease it out?
That's why people give suggestions out. This is what we face, so you don't step into the puddle of mud.
Correct. Yeah. Good. What else?
I mean, what else? We had a really great interviewing you, sir. I mean,
Thank you.
I took lot many takeaways, so maybe the audience will also take away.
It's always a pleasure. First thing that I say is I'll walk out with, nowadays you don't need to produce a CV, have a LinkedIn profile, and make sure you connect with the leaders and see. A LinkedIn profile can explain you so many aspects: career progression planning, the skills and abilities somebody has developed and improved over the period of time,
Yes, sir.
and the connects that they have established,
Yes.
and how, areas of interest, accomplishments, certifications. So what else you need, right?
Everything, package.
It's pretty much, it's you're referring to so much information in one profile. So have LinkedIn profiles and connect with people. Try to understand what they have done. That's one important suggestion I wanted to give you. So I have one question from my side,
Yes, sir.
right? What is one question that you wanted to ask and that you did not ask me?
Actually, sir, to be very honest, there was nothing. I mean, in fact, I went with the flow. I was given a set of script, but I didn't follow the script because while talking to you, I got so involved, my brain was parallelly going in something else, and I'm like, okay, not following the script, I'll go with the flow.
Thank you. Maybe I kind of deviated you because I did not prepare for these questions, right? Just kidding, but
No, sir.
it's such a pleasure interacting with you. And even if I made a 0.5% difference in people's thought today, I think you and I met our objective. So all I want to say is good luck, all the best, and you have a bright future ahead, and don't miss any opportunity, and good luck.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We had a really great time
Thank
having
you.
you.